During the test, you're going to look at your neighbors around you, look at this question number 27 and say, what the hey, what am I looking at? All right, we're looking at the last question of the exam. If it's a digital test, it'd be question number 22. If it's a paper-based test, it'd be question number 27. But either way, it's 30. Now, basics. Let's go through some quick basics. Now, this question should take you about 30 to 60 seconds to answer correctly because there's no answer choices. You know it's the hardest one. You know there are more tricks. You know they're trying to mess with you. So you want to be patient and don't rush. The first equation, you have to recognize, hopefully you guys recognize that that does represent a line. If I draw an XY coordinate plane, if I go to y equals a negative 2.5, let's go downstairs, 1, 2, and let's pretend that's 0.5 right there. That means that this is a line. Y equals a negative 2.5. That is a line that is parallel to the x-axis. So remember, you are looking at a line. Now, the second equation represents a parabola, a positive parabola. Now, if we read the question, you're going to see in the given system of equations, k is a positive integer constant. The system has no real solutions. No real solutions is the big deal. But before I get into those words, let's take a look at the parabola. The parabola in that blue line, that positive parabola can have one real solution. One real solution means that the parabola is going downtown and hitting the blue line one time, one real solution. So exactly where it kisses right there, that's your real solution. Now that parabola could be anywhere as long as it touches that line one time. It could be there, it could be there, it could be there, it could be there. But it's touching that line one time. That's one real solution. You guys with me? All right. Now, how about when can it have two real solutions? So I take that same parabola. If I move it down, notice where it's getting kissing or getting kissy poo with the kissing, where it's kissing the blue line two times, two solutions. If I move it over here, two solutions. If I move it over here, you got two solutions. That's where the red line intersects with the blue line two times. That means there's two solutions. How about no real solutions? That means this parabola is neither touching the blue line here, here, all along here, anywhere around here. It's not touching, not touching. We'll never touch. We'll never touch. No touch. No, no, don't touch. Don't touch. There's no real solutions here. Yeah, it sounds like some mean people out there don't want any real solutions. So let's get rid of this business. Let's go straight into the question. Now that we understand one real solution, two real solutions, no real solutions, let's see what the rest of the question is talking about. So it kicks off with k is a positive integer constant. What we say about constant? Just numbers. So it's a positive number, but what the heck does integer mean? There's another layer of the trickeration. So an integer has to be any whole number, right? Any whole number that can be positive or negative, either one, positive or negative number. But in this case, they want it to be positive, and it includes zero. Zero is also considered an integer, but they want it to be a positive number. So what could be that positive number? All right, now, if the system has no real solutions, that means you're dealing with the discriminant. So whenever you're dealing with parabolas, the discriminant is a part of, I didn't even spell discriminant. Well, you guys understand the discriminant, or I call it the discriminations, is the area, the part of the quadratic formula. Here, I'm going to write it down. B squared minus 4AC. You guys recall that? We did that a couple of questions ago. Negative B plus minus radical B squared minus 4AC over 2A, right? When I do that with the over 2A, whenever you deal with the quadratic formula, we're trying to find the actual solutions. We did that a few questions ago, right? The actual solutions of the formula. But if we don't want to find out the actual solutions, we only want to know how many real solutions, not the actual solution, just how many real solutions. Are there two? Does a parabola kiss a line two times? Does a parabola kiss a line one time? Does it kiss it no times? All right, so if there are no real solutions, then we have to set our discriminant to be less than zero when it's no real solutions. If there are two solutions, then we would set it to be greater than zero. So we plug in our values B, A, and C to have it greater than zero. Then we have two real solutions. If they told us one real solution, then we'd have to set the discriminant to be equal to zero. But since there's no real solutions, we're dealing with less than zero. Now, the next step, again, these hard questions are a bunch of baby steps. Let's do our next step. We have to take that y equals negative 2.5 and y equals the parabola or the quadratic and set them equal to each other. That's the next step. So x squared plus, it's all elementary now. Once you know this part, the game is owned. set it equal to negative 2.5. Carefully, we got to move everything to the left-hand side. I want my x squared to be positive, so I'm going to add 2.5 to both sides. When I add 2.5 to both sides, I'll wind up with x squared plus 8x plus k. Now it's plus 2.5, because remember, I got to add it to both sides, so the other side is going to be 0. All right, so what's my a value? My a value is implied 1, my b value is 8, and my c value is all of this business. That k plus 2.5 represents a number, so I'm going to use that for c. All right, let's do our business. So what is my b squared going to be? That's going to be my 8, positive 8 squared. And now we're going to multiply a negative 4 times our a and our c value. Our a value is what? Our a value is 1. And our c value, don't forget, is k plus 2.5. Then what do? We set it to less than 0. Why? Because there's no real solution. So the discriminant set to less than 0. All right, let's do our business. Let's carefully solve. What's 8 squared? It's going to be 64. What's a negative 4 times k plus 2.5? That'll be a negative 4k and a negative 10, and still less than 0. All right, let's do our business. What's 64? Let's combine like terms. What's 64 minus 10? That's going to equal 54, and we still have our minus 4k set to be less than 0. All right, how do we solve for this? I'm going to make my k positive. So I'm going to move my negative 4k to the other side. I'm going to add negative 4k to both sides. So I'm going to be left with 54 is less than 4. Oops, that's not a 4, that's a k. Oops, 4k. All right, now how do I solve for k? Going to divide 4 by both sides. So now k is still greater than 54. Whoops, let me slide this up. 54 over 4. Now, what is 54 over 4? I mean, we could, I guess, keep it as a fraction. 4 goes into 5 one time. Carry the 1. 4 goes into 12 3 times. And that would be 13. Wait, 54. Does that fit? Yeah, 1 and then 14, 3. And then we got 2.5. There, so k is greater than 13.5. Now, a lot of students, they could make the mistake and put their answer as 54. Because notice, there's no answer choices. Or the student is going to be right in saying k is greater than 13.5, but they'll accidentally put this as their answer. It has to be what? K is a what? Positive integer constant. So 13.5 is not a positive integer constant, but since k has to be greater than 13.5, so our answer is going to be k is equal to 14. And that is how dirty these guys can be. A lot of pieces. Now, if you prepare for the test, you have to realize you have to get very good with your easy and medium level questions to the point that you're answering those without careless errors in 20 to 30 seconds. Then when you're preparing for the next time you take the SATs, then you can start focusing on the trickier questions, which would be the last third of any math section of the exam, whether it's part A or part B. You got to be prepared for the trickerations. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the explanations to these questions. If you have any questions, just contact me anytime at the following number. Easy to get to. You can text me or call 786-877 7231. My name is Mr. Alberto. If you need access to the document, just let me know. I'll get it out to you. Plus, the question numbers in that document, they're clickable. So when you get to a question, you have some trouble, you can click on it and it'll go straight to the video to explain it. All right, everybody, take care. Until the next time, peace out.